Hello.
This is Shri Minnard. She is one of my former classmates from college, and she is a yoga instructor, but it's much bigger than that. Your title is much bigger than yoga instructor. She lives in India. So if you could tell our subscribers what exactly is your title, what do you do?
Okay. I'm the director of yoga program at Shri Jasnath Asan, which means Shri Jasnath Ashram.
Okay.
It's a very old, a 500-year-old ashram in northwestern India, up by the Pakistan-Nepal border.
Okay.
And it's in the Hatha yoga lineage. So the founder of this tradition, Gorakhnath, is the one who received the yoga knowledge directly from Shiva himself.
Wow.
And then yes, and then through the lineage, the yoga knowledge, or this user's manual for the human race, has been passed down from one guru to the next and protected and passed on to other people. So now I work with this ashram family in this tradition of teaching everybody about how to be a healthy, happy, stress-free, illness-free human being.
And
You know,
it,
when you have children, you panic with the first child, and you say, doctor, I wish you had a user's manual for this thing because
yeah.
I don't know how to work it.
Uh huh.
And it turns out there was a user's manual that was given to us at the beginning of time,
Uh
and
huh.
we just need to use it, and it's free.
Right.
And yeah, it's perfect. There's no pills. There's, it's so that's my work, is to pass on this knowledge to everybody.
Okay, well that's very interesting. When I was talking with my coach Jeff, I asked him about um, yoga and incorporating yoga into the program that Jeff has, and he's put me on. And what's interesting is that Jeff is not really a yoga guy, but he's very flexible for as big, as muscular as he is. In his routine that he did for years on stage is he would do the splits. Here's this hulking guy and he'd do the splits in his routine. Well, I thought that was kind of interesting. And so I was asking him, so wouldn't flexibility be something that should be incorporated into everybody's plan? And one of the proof of the benefit of yoga is what you taught me to help me with my plantar fasciitis, and that was the stretching, the back exercises, the leg exercises, all of those to get my legs all my you don't think of it is that your back and your legs are all connected to the bottom of your feet,
Right, right.
and so I did that, and it certainly did create an instant change within a few weeks. So
Yeah.
so tell me and everybody else how we could incorporate yoga into the system uh, in any way that
Okay.
you could see.
Yeah. Well, when people come and they get discouraged when we say, you start practicing this prescription, this yoga prescription, and within 6 weeks you're going to be fine. Within 10 days you're going to see a difference, but within 6 weeks you're going to be fine. And they hear 6 week and they say, oh, the pill is much faster,
Hmm.
you know. But the truth of it is that the prescription from yoga is a lifestyle change. And stretching is an enormous part of that prescription, because our age is determined by the flexibility of our spine, period. Not by the wrinkles on our face or a chronological age, none of that. It is how flexible is your spine, and then I can tell you how old is your liver. Because all of the nerves that feed all of your organs come from your spine. So it's true that most weightlifters, bodybuilders, runners, these people go to the gym and they do exercises that compress the spine and all
Sure.
of the joints.
Hmm.
And when you compress the joints and spine, you get rid of air and you get rid of water. The synovial fluid decreases, and then very soon, for runners especially and weightlifters, the knee pain starts, the ankle pain starts. And so stretching in any kind of sport or activity is important to bring back the air and the water to those joints. It is the fountain of youth. If you want to stay young and look young and feel young and have young organs, then you have to get more space into your spine. So that's why yoga, any kind of core work, but especially the exercises we do in yoga, lengthen the spine. And it's actually the antithesis, the absolute opposite of weightlifting and running is yoga. So to balance, if you love weightlifting and you want to stay with it, then balance it out by doing the stretching.
And would you recommend the stretching afterward or before?
Both. Yes.
Both, really? Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And before you go to bed and, in the morning when you wake up, like I said, it's a lifestyle change. And you said you didn't know things were connected. Many times in the West, we think today I'm going to work on my shoulders and my arms in the gym. There's no way to just work on your shoulders and your arms because you have to take the rest of your body with you when you go to the gym.
True.
Okay, so there is no such thing as that siloed workout. You have to do the whole body at all times. So if you find a good stretching, a good yoga routine that you can do in the morning before you go to the gym and a different one for the evening, that's the best thing. My advice to a bodybuilder or anyone who's doing the weightlifting is, because we don't very often see like your trainer has both flexibility and strength, we usually see one or the other because bodybuilders have this outer shell of muscle. Mm-hmm. But if they fall, they shatter like glass because that core muscle is not there. So I would recommend one class a week for you of Ashtanga, which is a mostly standing routine. It's vigorous. It improves your flexibility. And then one class each week of normal fundamental hatha positions, hatha asana postures, mm-hmm. because this is less movement, but you hold the postures a little bit longer. So that's going to improve your core strength. So one class a week of Ashtanga, one class a week of hatha, and then every day about 20 minutes of stretching before you go to the gym. And you should be fine over a long term.
Long term? Okay, now, what is the biggest misconception that people have of yoga? I mean, one of the things that, you never would think that yoga could help you as much as it does medically. But I'm sure you've heard of misconceptions, like there are misconceptions about what I'm doing, and we've proven them to be, wrong or misguided in a lot of ways. But if there's anything that you could share that's along that genre, it would be kind of helpful.
Okay. Well, there's two. The biggest one I face when I do yoga programs in the West is that yoga is a religion, or it's attached permanently to the Hindu religions. So this is the first one I tell people. We have in our classes, we have Muslims, we have Christians, we have Jewish students and teachers at the ashram. We have, of course, Hindu, we have all kinds of faith. And when they're finished with our programs, they say, whatever their religion is, I'm better. I'm better at that thing that I do. Because yoga, the second misconception is that it's an exercise. It is not. It is about the breath. When we talk about illness in yoga, illness, whether it's bacterial or cancer or a mental disability, these things cannot survive in a well-aerated environment. If you're in a laboratory and you open a petri dish, you kill the germs because they can't survive with clean, fresh air. So it's the same in the human body. We talk about this in terms of yoga as a therapy, but in terms of stability of the mind, yoga as a meditation, yoga as a movement, and with your eyes closed, this becomes an introduction to yourself. And if you are connected to yourself, to your mind, and you're comfortable there, and you make that a practice, a daily practice, then whoever your guru is or your God or whatever you practice, you're going to be better at that practice, period. And so this is what I want people to understand is you want to be a better person, a better you, whatever you're doing, yoga is a great way to do it.
And it seems like from the Facebook posts that I've seen you is that you're connected in nature quite a bit, and you are also beaming. You're smiling a lot, and I
Yeah.
find that isn't that something that is another byproduct of taking stress away and making you kind of understand that most of those stresses are meaningless. And
Yeah, chemically, yoga drops the cortisol level in your body immediately on the first day. Your cortisol level will drop, which is the stress-producing enzyme. And in men and women, cortisol creates belly fat. And so people leave happy because they're more fit, if that's
uh-huh.
what they're going for. But I mean, my happiness, I started, as you know, teaching meditation in college when I was in college with you at Adrian. And teaching Trataka for me was a lifesaver because I had epilepsy. And epilepsy is a really big problem because you can't drive, you can't fly, there's so many things that you can't do, and you're just on a lot of medication. But I didn't want that life. I wanted something else, something that I could be healthy all by myself. So for me, yoga and meditation is what saved me, and now helping other people to do the same in their life, get themselves to a place where they can be well and connected without medication or alcohol or other addictions is a real joyful thing for me. Is this is what I was meant to do. But as far as connection to nature, yes, the founder of this tradition, this hatha tradition, was an ecologist, and he taught people that your connection to nature meaning trees and animals, but also your own human inner nature, is the key to transcendence. It's the key to happiness, profound happiness, forever happiness, not just a few minutes, 10 minutes a day, but all day long happy, all day long blissful. And so that's what I feel, all day long happy. And I'm thrilled to finally, because we all have our life struggles, right? We get
Right.
through them. Yoga is what got me through all of it.
Wow. Now I also see food as well. That's another big thing. That was the other thing I want to talk to you about because nutrition is a huge topic. There's always these diets that people are reading about in magazines, and they're horrible.
Horrible.
I mean, only eat grapefruits, only eat proteins, no carbohydrates whatsoever. All of that stuff just drives me crazy. But when I look at the foods that you're preparing, I know that they're vegan, correct?
Vegetarian.
They're vegetarian.
Vegetarian, yeah.
Okay. So they look delicious.
Yeah.
So how do you derive your protein in some of these dishes? Is there a quick dish that you could discuss that would
Yes.
be okay?
Yes. Yes. So first of all, science. Convenience. It's really, really easy to be a vegetarian in India. I mean,
Yeah.
let's face it. And I have a cook who cooks for me. So there you go. It's a really easy way to be a vegetarian and to learn these ways. But the Ayurveda, the original sciences in India that defined what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, all of these things have been drilled into this population, Hindu populations, for generations. So for them, it's a normal thing. For us, it's strange. So a few rules: no chemicals, absolutely no pesticides, no genetically modified products. Everything has to be original, heirloom. And I know saying this, your audience is going to say, but I live in America,
Right.
so
Yeah.
how is it possible? I have one grocery store. It's hard, but there are ways. There's companies that you can write to and have things sent to your home that are pure. And even if you incorporate more pure things in your diet, more living foods, and that's the second rule: only eat living foods. Living means it's not packaged in plastic and it's not cooked for a very long time at a very high temperature. So keep the nutrients alive. Your body needs living things to go in, living energy to make new energy in your body. So that's the second rule. The third rule is your plate should be half raw and half cooked. So the raw movement, I understand it. However, the stomach was not created for a completely raw diet. You need some cooked. Okay, next rule, don't eat after 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody kind of understands that. You go to bed with an empty stomach, you'll get used to it. And then 12 glasses of water every day. You have to have at least 3 liters of water every day. And not an hour before eating and not an hour after eating. So no water during those times. And that is to allow your stomach to use the nutrients of the food without dilution. So those are the basic Ayurveda rules, okay? As far as the protein content, in the West, diets are designed so that around depravity. Depravity, you take something away. I'm going to
Right.
take away all your carbohydrates, and then you feel this
Yeah.
this pain, right? And then you get thin. There's this magic thing, but that's not really the truth. When you take something out of your diet that your stomach is used to, your cortisol goes up. And cortisol, as I mentioned, creates belly fat. So treat your body kindly. It has a memory, it has a preference. If it likes mashed potatoes, okay, eat mashed potatoes. Just don't eat a mountain of mashed potatoes. Eat some and cut back slowly, incorporating other things. For protein, to discover, first of all, how much protein do you need? If you take your body weight in pounds and multiply it by 0.37, that will tell you how many grams of protein you need. And I think you'll be shocked. It's really very little. Secondly, the protein that Americans and Westerners are taking from meat, the calories in meat is mostly found in the saturated products of the meat, the fat. The part of meat that is actually protein is actually quite low compared to vegetarian products, such as spinach. Spinach is actually per calorie much, much higher in protein than beef, and
Really?
and has half of the calories. So if you need to cut back on your calories and increase your protein, you're going to go to things like spinach is available in all of America. If you go to the health food store, the number one highest vegetable product you can get is spirulina. Has the most protein per calorie of anything you can eat. 1 teaspoon is five grams of protein, and that's a lot. So spirulina, spinach, and then after that you can do almonds, hemp seeds. I think those are the broccoli. Broccoli is actually quite high. And the seeds, I think the seeds in the Indian diet is quite huge. We have seeds every day mixed with our vegetables and salads and things. There's a lot of seeds in the diet, but you can go to the health food store and find all kinds of seeds. And you can cook with them. You can put them in your shake in the morning. So in the morning, an almond shake with spirulina, that's half of your protein need right there for the entire day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yes. Vegetables have quite a lot of, everything has protein in it, everything does, but which ones for the calories that you're going to take in, balanced with, your taste preferences, you need to go to the green department, and the seeds and nuts.
Seeds and nuts?
And these are all seeds and nuts. These are all high fiber, water soluble, so it's going to realign the flora in your intestines, especially if you've been a meat eater. If you increase these seeds, nuts, and greens, it will realign the flora in your intestines and make your nutrient absorption rate much higher. That's the key. And this is the key to your nutrition is we're not talking about what to take away in calories. We're talking about how to improve your absorption level in your intestines as they are now. Think about the inside of a room. If you paint it every day for 3 years, you have layers and layers and layers of paint, and nothing's going to get through that paint. Mm-hmm. So now you have to work on taking all that paint off of the wall so that you can, that absorption layer for your intestines is covered, especially if you're a meat eater. It has tar on it. So you need now a fresh, lots of raw food to clean off those intestine walls. And then your absorption rate goes up from the nutrition that you're taking in, and your calorie need goes way down.
Wow. So how many calories a day are you approximately eating? Do you know? Or
I have no idea. They don't count calories here, but I can tell you that when I arrived in India, I had hypoglycemia. I had very low blood sugar because I said, no white sugar, no white flour, no, 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 no. And I was suffering with this hypoglycemia. But when I got here, they don't have any white flour anywhere. I can't find white flour. It's all brown flour and natural sugars. It's not refined. So I started eating the sweets and eating the bread as they make them very natural with heirloom products. And this is 2 years later. I have no sugar problems at all. It's all gone.
There you go.
Nothing. Yeah. So it takes some time, but it's like I said before at the beginning of our discussion, this is a lifestyle change. This is not, I'm going to make this happen overnight. This is over the course of many months. You make one change 1 week, next week you make another change. Just go slow and remember to treat your body and your mind kindly and accept where you are now in this work and make the change slowly so that it's not so abrupt and you don't feel the sadness of leaving your old life, the old conveniences. You adopt a new change and then you welcome that change into your cupboard. Get used to seeing the spirulina in the cupboard for a few weeks before you get rid of the cookies.
Yeah.
Make the change slowly. Be kind. Always be kind. Nonviolence, is a lifestyle. It means you don't hurt animals, and guess what? You don't hurt yourself either. So just be kind as you make these changes.
Well, I mean, when you said spinach was so high in protein, no wonder why Popeye liked his spinach.
Yes, exactly. He got stronger immediately. It's true.
Yeah. So, could you kind of go over maybe a couple of basic yoga stretches or resources that we might be able to look into? I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have to demonstrate, but I mean, kind of, because it's kind of hard on a Skype screen, but
Yeah. Well, okay, so that's a great challenge for a yogi is what can I do on a Skype screen that will
yeah.
help me, right?
Right,
So
yeah.
we all sit at the desk all day. We all stare at a monitor all day.
Yeah.
So what can we do while sitting at the monitor? We don't have to leave our cubicle and get fired. What can we do right at the cubie? First is the chair stretching. There's a lot of great resources in your library for chair yoga or office yoga, or corporate yoga, whatever you want to call it, where things that you can do while sitting in your chair. The simple activity of turning off the screen and doing simple eye exercises, up, down, over, side, up, down, over, side, just 2-3 minutes, and then cupping means putting this part of the palm in your eye socket, little bit of pressure, not too much, and by moving the eyeball inside the socket just a fraction of an inch releases the tension of that nerve that holds your eye in place and looks at the monitor. So by doing that just for 30 seconds and relieving that eye pressure in complete darkness is miraculous for your eyes. Our eyes degrade over time from looking at the screen and from the electromagnetic waves coming from the monitor. Over time, our eyes degrade. So there are things you can do for your eye. For your spine, as you sit there in your desk, simply take the opposite hand and put it on the back of your chair and pull yourself behind you and look behind you. This is called Matsyendrasana, and you can do it on the floor or in your chair. It's brilliant for the middle and lower back to relieve, because we go home and then we sit in the chair in the car, right?
Yeah.
And then we go home and then we sit on the couch in front of the television. So
Yep.
humans were not made to sit like this.
Yeah.
Humans were not, we were not built for chairs. We were built for sitting on the floor. We eat here at the ashram on the floor. We have meetings on the floor. And, it's amazing. The first time I arrived here, I saw many old people, 80, 90-year-old people, standing up and sitting down in cross-legged position on the floor. And I thought of my grandmother at the time at 92, and I thought, if I got my grandmother on the floor, I would need a crane to get her off of the floor because
Right.
our knees in the West are not built for up and down like that. But here in India, they have much more flexibility in the body overall. So they're healthier way later in their life. They're not chair-ridden the way you see in the West.
Now,
So there's many things you can do.
okay. Now, just culturally, since you've been living in India for 2 years, in the West, 3 years. Excuse me. Sorry. I thought you were flashing your gang sign or something.
My Shiva, these are my Shiva marks. People here who
Yeah.
worship Shiva, they have ashes across their
Oh,
forehead.
okay. uh, so, unfortunately, in our country, when we see India, we think dirty. We think a slumdog millionaire. I mean, it just looks awful. But when the pictures that I see from you are like, it's absolutely stunning. So,
Yeah.
what's the truth?
Well, the truth is most Indians hate that movie Slumdog Millionaire
Sure.
because it was filmed in the slums of Calcutta. I think Calcutta or Delhi, I can't remember. Um, and it kind of gives everybody in the West that that's what all of India looks like. But that was a slum. In I'm sure there's parts of Detroit that look just like
Oh yeah,
that,
yeah.
or worse. you know. And there's parts of America that are beautiful, just like India. So there are parts that are great and parts that are not great. I think that culturally, the Indian mind, the Hindu mind, is a very, very spiritually oriented person and very spiritually oriented people. They are very connected to each other spiritually and connected to God spiritually. So then that their material surroundings, their material belongings take a second or third chair to the spiritual part of their life, which is every minute. It's not just on Sunday or Saturday. It's every day, every meal, every occurrence is preceded with blessing, with Om Namah Shivaya, and everything is surrounding their connection to the cosmos, connection to the Creator. They remember every minute. So if they forget to pick up the clutter in the yard, it's okay for them as long as they remember their connection to the cosmos. It's a different priority than we have in the West. I'm not saying it's better. I personally, we live in a village in the ashram. The village is usually very messy all of the time because they don't prioritize picking up litter or making it look nice. It's just not a priority. So I do miss this about America, that it's we prioritize a nice lawn and a nice facade to the house. But the thing that we miss in the West that I have here is that connection to your nature and your connection to people around you. I lived in New York for a long time. Never met my neighbors once.
Yeah, that's true.
In India, I was at the ashram all of 10 minutes before all of the neighbors had come into the ashram to greet me. Everybody, hundreds of people, right up here. So it's a very different world. I think a balance, what we say at the ashram, is neither one is right or wrong. I think a really good balance is what we're looking for. We bring in a lot of Westerners to the ashram for training and for retreats. We have 2-day retreats to learn this yoga thing, or we have 2-week retreats. And then we have a teacher training program that lasts 30 days. So by the time they leave the ashram, they really understand the difference in the priorities and the lifestyle. I think in the village, it's most obvious in the children. The children in the village are very, very different than the Western child. They don't have stuff. They don't have a television or game station or fancy sports equipment. They don't have these things. But what they do have is they play cricket outside every day. They walk to school. They play. They're outside, and it's something that's going away in the United States, is the connection between children and that natural play that you and I probably had growing up. Just go outside and play in the corn. They don't have that anymore in the West because of the danger or whatever. They have more things to do inside. So I appreciate that about India, that it hasn't moved in that way.
Well, that's good. Now,
Yeah.
your ashram, you were, you have some sort of something coming up where people can actually go there for what is it, a couple of weeks, or could you explain that?
January 16 we have I have an Ayurveda clinic in the ashram, a beautiful spa, where we do natural procedures for weight loss or detoxification or dealing with some specific injury to the knee or the back. And people are coming for 2 weeks. For a residential period, they stay in the palace. There's a palace on the grounds where it's a very nice, fully European room and marble. It's beautiful. And the Panchakarma clinic, the Ayurvedic clinic, they have 25 services in there with a doctor every day. For 2 weeks, they have 25 services overall. And we're going to cover things like the education, the lifestyle change needed for weight loss. And there will be some plant-based prescription if a person needs it. That it's a powder, usually from the neem tree or some other combination, to help with things like slow thyroid or digestion, too slow digestion, or some other problems. And then we have yoga for them twice a day. We have cooking classes so they can learn how to make things like dal. Lentils is our primary source of protein, and many different kinds of dal, including the chickpea or the garbanzo, however you like to say. So we'll teach them how to make these protein-based dishes that they can take home and find these resources in their own community. And then we teach them basic meditation procedure, how to still the mind. Our crazy Western mind is going, and we have said, oh, this intellect, it's a great thing, but actually, if we can disconnect our mind for just a short time from our body knows how to heal itself without this big fat brain that we put in the way all the time.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks, and so they'll come from U.S. and England and France and Germany, and bringing everybody together to talk about the weight problem and the obesity epidemic happening in all countries right now, not just America, but all countries, is quite an interesting experience for all of us to share. How did this happen culturally, media, food access, or what's happening that's making this epidemic happen, and how can yoga and Ayurveda help it with basic lifestyle changes? And how do I bring these changes back into my own kitchen? Because my own kitchen doesn't look like your kitchen.
Yeah.
So how do I do that? What is the program? You put it on paper so I can take it home. So we have created a program like this.
Interesting. So how can people get into this program?
Well, they can go to the website, shrijasnathasan.org. I don't know if you have a way to share this with your viewers, but it's shrijasnathasan.org. And it's under the tab Ayurveda, and the workshop is listed there. We have this workshop 6 times a year, so if you can't get into the January program, no problem. There's another one coming up. And it takes, for most Americans, it takes about 6 weeks to get an Indian visa. So and it's an easy flight, the flight to Delhi, and then the flight from Delhi to Jodhpur, and then we'll pick you up at the airport. So as far as some people have a fear of traveling to India, but don't believe the Slumdog Millionaire, you're not driving into a slum. It's really quite a beautiful, amazing place, and I love it. And I lived in many places in America for several years, and I've made the adjustment to India quite well.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, do you have anything to add? And we've been at this for a little over a half hour. The floor is yours.
Well, I'm curious how you're doing. I'm watching your progress online, and I'm seeing the pictures.
Uh-huh.
And so you're doing this with a change in nutrition and diet, and then the work in the gym. Those 2 things only?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
In what it is, I am eating meat. Sorry, but no. I did a documentary several years ago called "I Want to Look Like That Guy," and it took me. The idea was to try to figure out if the ads that you see all the time really are telling the truth. So I put myself through the ringer to see really what it takes to look like the guy in those ads, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the pill they're trying to sell, or none of that is true. It's all hyperbole. So the reason why I'm doing this again is I'm trying to answer all the questions that were unanswered from the first one, and that's why I'm involving people from all walks of life and all expertise levels and professions to find out really where the truth is to lock in a healthy lifestyle and remain fit, athletic, functional, and also the psychological part of it as well. And that's part of this whole exploration. I mean, it's 24. I'm giving people a course that's 24 hours long of just seeing everybody's side of the story. And so what I'm doing differently now is that I've cut out alcohol, and that has changed quite a bit. I had one beer after it was a Christmas party, and it was I only allowed myself to have one beer after I had had 378 perfect meals, where, you know, like you were saying, the meals are all living. Broccoli, anything that's leafy green or green, including cauliflower that's not green, but I can have as much of that as I want.
Yeah.
And protein and also whey protein as well. Plus working out in the gym, and my workouts aren't really that long either. They're just 45 minutes, boom, and I'm out. But what I want to start incorporating now is stretching, and that's why, you know, I came to you. But the progress that Western people have is that they want it now.
Yeah.
And this proves, and what I wanted to do this time is I'm releasing it in real time, so people are watching me whittle away or get leaner and have a transformation in the time frame that's not compressed down to 90 minutes. They're actually seeing it week by week by week by week and going, oh, that's just a small little change. Oh, this is changing just a little bit over there in his hips, and
yeah.
So that's the different part about this, is that it's a real-time documentary.
Right. And where is your energy level going? Yeah. This is the thing about time management. Whenever we talk to people about incorporating yoga or anything, they say, I don't have time. But the thing is about this, or any kind of movement-based activity, is when you do it and you make it a practice and you're consistent with it, you don't have such a need for the sleep. You know, 10 hours becomes 9 hours, becomes 8 hours, becomes 7 hours. And eventually, and then if you incorporate meditation into it, 1 hour meditation is equal to 4 hours of sleep. Imagine what you could do with an extra 4 hours in your day. This is enormous. Wow. So we don't have to make time for yoga. We have to accept the responsibility of the extra time we get from yoga. What are we going to do with it? Something productive? Or are we going to watch TV and do Facebook? You have to be ready to make the decision to have a better life. That's the first thing. And the second thing that I noticed what you were saying is, once it happens again and then the weight gain happens again, then Americans say, well, then I just have to be more diligent. I have to be more critical of myself. I have to be more aggressive about pushing that weight away, pushing away that lifestyle, pushing. And this universe is about yes. There's no such thing as negative in this universe. Whatever you think, you get. So if you're thinking, no, push it away, you get more of that. So if you want this to be an overnight success, the first step is to accept it. Welcome that bad boy into your house, sit him down on the couch and say, glad to know ya. I did this to myself. I accept the responsibility. This is mine, and I love it. Whatever it is, wherever I am today, I love it. Do that first, and then go to the gym.
Yeah, I have something that's similar to that. I videotaped myself fixing my first shake in the morning, and it was 5 o'clock in the morning, and I felt awful. I mean, I looked terrible. My skin was ashen, and I put on the most uncomplimentary boxer shorts I could find, and I looked like hell. I really did. So I fixed my drink, and then 9 weeks later, I put a video together of me doing the exact same thing, wearing the same shorts, and put them side by side, and wow, what a difference. And so I always connect to that vision of me that's my guy, right? That I welcome every day. I'm like, I'm not looking like that ever again. And
Yeah.
I don't think I ever will. I really don't.
No, there's no need for it now.
Yeah.
Once you've transcended whatever got you to that place, it's not really possible to go back there. It's gone. It's like you can't step into the same river two times because that water's gone. This is all new water.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
it's funny. A friend of mine, who's a cube mate of mine, she said that we are at the age now where we decide how old we are going to be.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with a friend of mine in the gym today, and he said, "Yeah, there's a friend of mine who's 53 years old, had a heart attack
Yeah.
New Year's Day, not New Year's Eve, not New Year's Eve, but Christmas Eve, and his reaction to it was, well, I'm just getting old.
Yeah.
You're 50.
Oh. What? Yeah, me too. I see these comments sometimes, and I or just call me, just call me the old man. And I always said, wait a minute, you're the same age I am.
Yeah,
So how does that work? It's a frame of mind.
yeah,
Absolutely a frame of mind. You can accept it, or you can opt out of the program and just say, I'm going to be, purely for me, energy, spirit, I'm going to live according to the age of those more important parts of my life than wrinkles on my face, or because things change, everything changes, right? Our
yeah.
bodies change over time. If you get too attached to the way you look, in some picture, then the pain that's coming to you in a few years, just wait for the pain to come. So don't get too attached. Everything changes.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just connecting to that vision as I'm going through. Because actually, I have two visions. The vision of me after I did the first documentary. I mean, I looked fantastic. I I got.
I remember.
Yeah, it was an
Yes.
amazing, amazing transformation. However, I would. That's the goal I'm shooting for. That's a guy I will focus on for. That's who I want to be, and that's who I'm shooting for. Now, the other guy is sort of like my. But if you don't, then here's where you're gonna. Then here's where you're gonna go. And so when I think, oh yeah, maybe another beer. No, because then I think of
No.
that guy, and I
Yeah.
think of the other guy. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
you look fantastic. You look like you're very very happy, and of course extremely fit too. So and I totally agree with you on the flexibility. Like you were saying, that people that aren't flexible, they are like glass.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and the obesity thing is a big issue in this country. It's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Especially where I work, there's Sharpie containers in the restrooms. Did you know that?
Sharpie?
You know,
No.
yeah, that's the diabetic, hypodermic needles.
Okay.
They're called Sharps containers.
Okay.
And so after they give themselves an injection, so that the needle doesn't go into circulation for heroin addicts and all that stuff, you put those in there because instead of the garbage, right? So you put them in that
Right.
container, and they're popping up all over the place because everybody's a diabetic.
Oh my God. Okay, everybody come to the ashram.
Yeah.
Half of our diabetic patients from our clinics are off of insulin. Off forever. Half, 50%. And I'm not stopping there. I'm going for the other 50% too. So my goal is 100% no insulin.
That
Possible.
I really think that that's a great mission. I really do.
Yes. Yeah. So Stu, you're welcome to the ashram anytime. Your viewers are welcome to the ashram anytime. They can write to me if they mention you in the registration papers. We can give them a 10% discount on the registration fee for any of our workshops or teacher training programs. So you're all welcome. It's a beautiful place, and I'll be there waiting for you.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Stu. Good luck on your program. I
Uh,
can't wait to see more.
oh yeah, you'll see more. Plenty.
Okay.
All right.
Namaste.